5 yards. That's Tyler Higbee in the corner of the end zone, 16-7 Rams. Geno Smith coming on, backing up Russell Wilson. Smith finding DK Metcalf for his second touchdown of the night. So it's a 16-14 game. Then coming back the other way, Robert Woods had a huge night for the Rams. 12 catches, 150 yards. Here's one of them here with the nice play. That would lead to this later in the drive. First and goal from the 2. It's Sony Michel who's going to take it in untouched. Rams up by 9. Just over 2 minutes left. Seahawks down 6. It's Geno Smith. You're going to see him rolling right. He's going to throw a pass that looks like it's to no one. Truth is, there probably could have been a flag on this play. You see Tyler Lockett on the ground. No call. Rams defense comes up big. They win it 26-17. But the big questions are all about Russell Wilson and his finger. The concern in Seattle. Wilson has never missed a game since entering the league. He started week 1 of 2012. He has started 149 consecutive games. They don't play for 10 days now. They will play Pittsburgh a week from Sunday. We'll see. Meanwhile, big game this weekend. Giants, Cowboys, Jerry World, Sunday. Dallas has won 7 of the last 8 meetings in the series, but the G-Man won the most recent matchup. That was week 17 of last year. After losing their season opener, meanwhile, the Cowboys have been just great. They've won their last 3, averaging just over 32 points per game in those wins. The Giants, meantime, heartbreaking last-second losses to Washington and Atlanta, then broke into the win column for the first time last week with an upset win over New Orleans. And speaking of upsets, yesterday Bart Scott put the Cowboys on upset alert.
Listen, the Giants always play well in Jerry World. I love the way this defense matches up. You talk about Adoree Jackson. You talk about James Bradbury, Peppers. They have the personnel to match up well, and I think they get the dub. Danny Dimes, yes, it's the breakout player of the year. And when I see Danny Dimes, I see Josh Allen. Y'all can't see it because they don't pay you to see it. I can read the future.
Listen, I love it, and the Daniel Jones of it all is something I want to get to in a minute. But let's start with the general idea here that the Giants have the formula to slow down what has been a really good and balanced offense for the Cowboys this year. Sacho, do you agree?
Greeny, what formula will slow down Zeke, Tony Pollard, Dak? The Dallas Cowboys are top 5 in nearly every offensive statistical category. Like, you know, you listen to somebody and it's like they're trying to convince you of something and they don't really believe what they're saying. I don't think that Bart Scott really believed what he was saying. Zeke is playing at a high level. Tony Pollard, to give Zeke a spell, is playing at a high level. And then you go to Kellen Moore, the way he's calling plays and dialing plays up. And that's not even to talk about Dak Prescott, who is dominating. So offensively, the Cowboys will be dominant. Then secondly, going to their defense. I get it. They're ranked 17th right now in points on defense, statistically. But when you turn on that tape of that defense, you start seeing dogs hunting. That's what you see. You see guys like Randy Gregory getting sacks and forced fumbles. You see guys like Trayvon Diggs, who has 5, yes, that's right, 5 interceptions. The Cowboys are second in the NFL in turnovers. They've forced 10 so far. So, like, offensively, they're set. Defensively, they're set. The Giants don't have a chance, in my opinion, against the Dallas Cowboys because they are only getting better and they're only getting stronger from this point and forward.
So it's interesting. So Sacho was talking about the balance of that Cowboy offensive attack because we talk about Zeke and Pollard and how well they have run it. But, oh, by the way, they have Dak Prescott and they have CeeDee Lamb and they have Amari Cooper and the list goes on and on. Yep. So if you are playing them defensively right now, what is the key? When you walk out on that field, what are you thinking? No matter what else happens, we have to accomplish this.
Stop the run. Stop the run. You have to stop the run. And I don't think the Giants are going to be able to stop the run. So you look at the Cowboys with Pollard and Zeke together, they're on pace to run for 1,000 yards. Each of them, yep. They're on track to run for 1,000 yards. So when you can do that, that basically sets up the tempo for the game. And then you have Dak out there who's controlling the whole thing. And he's up top and just throwing the ball over the defense. So for me, when I look at the Giants, they lose Martinez, their big-time inside linebacker. They lost him with an ACL. So that is going to be the hardest part for the Giants is to try and slow down the Cowboys' running attack, and I don't think they're going to be able to do it.
Well, so Graziano, you know that NFC East awfully well. You give the Cowboys a chance? The Giants a chance?
A chance, yeah. I mean, in fact, 37.4%. Okay. That's a highly scientific calculation that I did in my head and for which I owe no one an explanation. But the fact of the matter is it's the NFC East. Hembo told me this morning of the last 14 division games, the favorites are 3-11 against the spread. Right? So it's always a close game in the NFC East. It matters to these players. Obviously, they'll be motivated. And look, I mean, I think the Cowboys will win, but are they above a clunker? I mean, at some point, they're not going to win all the rest of their games. Go for it, Bart.
Let me address the rest of what Bart said.
Yeah.
Because he's talking about Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like America has really gotten this message fully. So some might look at this game and say, the Cowboys live to take the ball away, and Daniel Jones lives to give the ball away. That has been the knock on him.
Daniel Jones could go the next 5 years without throwing an interception, and then in year 6 he throws one, and everybody will go, "Oh, look, it's Daniel Jones again." He's stuck with that reputation. Fact of the matter, 5 turnovers in his last 12 games, dating back to the middle of last season. There is some evidence to indicate he has that issue under control. He's playing well. Kenny Golladay, the other receiving talent around him, better than he's had in his career thus far. I mean, I think they'll be in the game. I'm not picking them to win it. I think they'll be in the game.
Jones has 2 turnovers this year, and one was a pick on a Hail Mary, and the other one was a bad fumble the first week against Denver, which did badly hurt them. But he is playing really well. How about the Daniel Jones of it all?
No, I think that he's playing well. He went down in New Orleans, and I think that was a surprise win. I don't think anyone picked the Giants to go down in New Orleans and beat the Saints.
Right.
But again, I think Joe Judge is going to have this team going. And when you're in a division, sometimes it's just, when you're in a division, it's a dogfight. And it's just the way it's going to be. So we'll see what happens.
Quick final thought. Sacho, go.
Well, here's the X factor. Last week, Saquon looked healthy. So a healthy Saquon, along with the way that Daniel Jones played in the fourth quarter and overtime, he was 14 of 19 for 203 yards. If a healthy Saquon and Daniel Jones doing what he did last week, right, Danny Dimes, that would give the Giants a chance. I don't think they win this game, but I'm not sleeping on the Giants. Daniel Jones is rising, and Saquon is getting healthy.
We changed his mind. He said no chance.
We won over.
Now he knows it's 37.4%.
Yeah. Right? You want that number? 37.4%. That's Graziano's number. Take it or leave it. All right. Much more on the NFL weekend. But on these Football Fridays, we don't overlook the college games. Another huge weekend of college football coming up. Second-ranked Georgia and its staunch defense travels to Auburn to take on the 18th-ranked Tigers. Georgia's won the last 4 meetings in this series. Then we got a clash of top 5 teams in Iowa City. Number 3, Iowa, hosting number 4, Penn State. Hawkeyes have won 11 straight games, while the visiting Nittany Lions have won 9 straight. So that's a huge one. And then in Dallas, the annual Red River rivalry game, 6th-ranked Oklahoma, 21 Texas. 7 of the last 8 in this series have been decided by 1 possession. And let's dive into it with the man who's there in Dallas. College Game Day will be there tomorrow, and that means Desmond Howard is ready to go. Des, thank you for getting up with us here. And let's talk about what's at stake here. Oklahoma has not looked spectacular through much of this season. For them to be where they want to be at the end, what do you need to see from them tomorrow?
I tell you what, Greeny, listen, if they're worried about winning the PR battle, then they have to come out and play a monstrous game against Texas. I don't know if people understand that Lincoln Riley can still get this team into the college football playoff, even with the loss. But the reason that people are starting to talk about Oklahoma the way they have, because coming to the season, we thought they were part of that A-list group, like with the Alabamas, the Ohio States, right? But now, since they haven't performed up to that level, people are starting to look at them like, hey, what's going on with Lincoln Riley? Spencer Rattler came into the season as the Heisman favorite. He's playing good, but he's not playing great. So I think they need to come out and show that this 2021 Oklahoma Sooners team is the team that people expected and anticipated coming to the season. I mean, you're looking at a team that only beat Tulane by 5 points, beat Nebraska by a touchdown, West Virginia by only a field goal, and then last week beat Kansas State by only 6 points. So I think if they come out with a resounding victory over Texas, then people will start to say, oh, okay, that's the Oklahoma Sooners we expected to see in 2021.
I agree with you. They get the big stage tomorrow. We'll see if they can use it to sort of resurrect the reputation. On the other hand, now we go to the Big Ten. That's your conference and mine, and the huge matchup here. We talked about the top 4 teams, Iowa, Penn State. What are the keys to this game?
Oh, man, I tell you what, Greeny, this Iowa team, everyone's talking about Georgia's defense, and they're probably the best defense in college football, but you got to look at this Iowa defense, too. They're number 1 in the FBS in takeaways, averaging 3 takeaways per contest. I mean, that's astounding. In this Penn State offense, they've only committed 3 turnovers so far this year. So they're going to try to put a lot of pressure on Sean Clifford, Penn State's quarterback, to be perfect. What they like to do, Iowa's defense, is play a zone defense. All the eyes are on the quarterback, and they want to make you play perfect football. Can you execute 12, 14, 15 play drives without making a mistake? Because as soon as you make a mistake, that's when they pounce on you and they register one of those takeaways. So watch Iowa's defense against Penn State's offense. That's going to be the matchup tomorrow's game.
Yeah, they've both been really good in the Big Ten, and so have your Wolverines. Look at the smile on Desmond's face as we talk about Michigan here. And the All-State Playoff Predictor currently gives Michigan the best chance to make the playoff of any Big Ten team. So let's talk about it. What makes this year's Michigan team, Desmond, in your view, different from the others that Jim Harbaugh has had the last few?
Greedy, it's the defense. You know, Don Brown, he was fired, and they brought in this defensive coordinator who used to be the linebackers coach